So let's just go into your reading. The main theme that I'm seeing for a lot of you is there has been a lot of karma that is released, okay? I feel that through, the last 6 months, many of you have gone through like a major growth spurt. And a lot of it has to do with, looking back at the past and some of the choices that you've made in the past, some of the decisions that you made, and figuring out whether or not they were right or wrong decisions, and whether or not you would continue into the future making the same types of decisions. So I feel a lot of introspection, a lot of self-awareness, a lot of insights has recently emerged for a lot of you within the past 6 months. And these insights are going to help you greatly as we transition into 2017. And you can carry the insights, the knowledge, and the wisdom to help you navigate some of the choppy areas in your life for the rest of this year. And so, whatever knowledge, whatever difficulties you have encountered for the past 6 months, these experiences have provided you with a lot of good wisdom, good insights overall. So take the lesson along with, what you have learned, and try to, make decisions based on those snippets of like awakening. I'm feeling like those epiphanies. Okay, you've had many epiphany moments, and I feel that you have some very strong protection, some divine source energies that are filtering through to help you navigate the rest of this year. So let me just talk about your energy that you're bringing to the table. There has been some major decisions that have been reached, okay? Major consensus, collaborations with other people, even contact, waiting on communication, waiting on contact. And I'm sensing from institutions. So this can be financial institutions. This can also be like work-related governmental institutions as well. And I'm feeling that whatever information you were waiting on, you have received the information in February. And so you're bringing this energy with you in March, and you're trying to, straighten out areas of your life that have not been working. You're trying to charge ahead in a enlightened way, bringing knowledge with you from the past to create a better future for yourself. Old ways of doing things that have not been healthy for you in the past, ways of behaving, even, habits such as bad habits, escapism, drinking, smoking, whatever it is. I feel like vices overall, you are leaving them behind because you know that, on a spiritual level, even on a physical, emotional level, they were not serving you. So you're finding new ways to move ahead with your life, okay? And I'm seeing for some of you, if you have been waiting on a work situation, though, if the work situation have not been, if it has been problematic, if there has been a lot of tension and a lot of strife in the past from the work environment, either through clients, through coworkers, through authority figures, I do sense many of you are waiting on decisions for a new job, like waiting on contact, waiting on interviews, waiting on salary negotiations as well from a new work environment. Okay, so waiting for that opportunity to interview. And then for others of you, the work environment itself is going to significantly ease up, where you have I'm seeing some type of a change around. You might be thrust into a supervisory position. So I do see like an increase in responsibilities as well as a salary increase, or even, stepping up into a higher paying position for some of you. And then I'm seeing for others as well, the work environment. I'm sensing that it has been, ridden with a lot of conflict. Like there was a lot of arguments. There was a lot of just, I am sensing like hostile clients, hostile people, hostile coworkers, or even, um, superiors, people that might not be operating at their best. If this is the energy that you have been contending with for the past 6 months, especially, things are going to ease up for you. Okay. I'm sensing a big housing change, housing environment change for many of you. So you might be out and about traveling quite a bit. And I do see some long-term travel for some of you. And so I'm seeing you like traveling to another country, traveling to a foreign land, securing visa. So your home environment seems to me to be a little bit unstable for some reason, okay? Um, Others of you who are not traveling, I do feel there is dividing up assets in the home environment. So liquidating assets in order to, divide things up between two marriage partners. So you might be dissolving a marriage contract and you might have a physical property that you are both trying to get squared away so that you can divide up, the revenues between two people and just split ways. And then for others, there is kind of like some type of noise violation, other types of like safety security issues as well in your home environment where you are seeking a new home, you are possibly starting a new job and trying to secure a new place of living for yourself. And I'm feeling as well for those working in a contract, on a contract basis, who you might be, on a temporary contract basis. I do see work contracts being renewed as well with this spread. So if you're kind of like stuck on pins and needles, wondering if that company is going to renew your work contract, I do feel the answer is yes, and it's going to be coming through in the March timeframe to alleviate your worries. Okay. Others of you, I see like some of you are going through this major exhale moment where you start to realize that your financial situation is going to be stable. So you might have been working on a temporary basis, for example, and you're not really sure how people perceive your performance, whether or not your performance, made the grade, made the cut. And so there might be some type of a performance review coming through for this month where your supervisors might discuss your capabilities or your performance so far, and they're going to tell you you did really well, so your job is stable, or at least like you're not going to be working on a temporary basis anymore. They're going to make you a full-time employee. And I'm seeing some of you, like this deep sigh of relief happening in your work environment. So things are going to get a lot better. Okay, you have some really strong cards that indicate things have been a little bit difficult, kind of like stuck in limbo, waiting on pins and needles on decisions from another person. But I feel like contracts will be finalized. Things will go through the way that things will move forward. Okay. So there's a lot of momentum here. There's also a lot of movement happening across the board in your finance, in your work sector that will allow you to exhale, not have to wait in suspense any longer. For those of you who are single and dating, I'm sensing you have many, suitors coming into the picture. So this Page of Cups is an energy of somebody who does, who is a little bit flirtatious. They want fun and excitement, and they want like a lighthearted type of a relationship. And I'm sensing that, this is all fun and games, and it's fun and exciting, but I feel that they're not, dating material, okay? Like long-term relationship material, because I feel like emotionally they're not at that point where they want to settle down, where they want to have a serious relationships. And whenever I see this card in a private reading too, it also denotes to me somebody who's not emotionally ready for a relationship. They think a relationship is going to require this much work. And, they might be there when the times are good, but in rough times or through rough times, they might not have the resilience to stick around. So I feel like you have a few people soliciting you for dates and such, but ultimately when it comes to like long-term potential with them, I feel that they are lacking in sustainability. Okay, like they're not going to be around for a long time, or they're not going to be wanting the same things as you. So just be a little bit careful. Date for fun, and keep things lighthearted. It's not going to be a heavy emotional experience, but I just feel like they're not really looking for a relationship. Okay, so you have offers coming through, but I feel that they don't really make the cut. So that's just something I want you to keep an eye out for. I'm sensing here some of you are have been dealing with a person. Let me just say, for some of you who are actually living with a relationship partner, I'm sensing that you might be contemplating a move, or your partner might not be too happy about the living environment. So the living situation, it might be a little bit crowded. You might have your own space, and you might have been renting out a room to somebody else, like subleasing a room, and then your partner might not want that. Your partner might want more privacy, or vice versa. You're living with your partner, he or she is renting out the room, and you want a little bit more privacy. So I'm seeing some type of discord in the home environment, especially for those living with a relationship partner, or living with somebody that you're dating, or somebody you're involved romantically with. There's going to be, some fine tuning that is needed for this month, okay? And then for others, I'm sensing there's a lot of just good communication coming through that will allow you to see things from another person's perspective. If you have been kind of racking your brain trying to figure out somebody's motives, somebody's intentions, or racking your brains trying to figure out why that situation happened the way it did, I feel like there's going to be some type of insights coming through for this month that will be very revealing, and it will allow you to really understand things from another person's perspective. So I look at this card as the Hangman, hanging upside down. It's like sometimes you need to put yourself, kind of like remove yourself from the situation, and also to look at things from a different perspective in order to understand what somebody means, or where the other person is coming from, or even why somebody did something the way that they did it. Because I feel like there has been some long-standing thing that you were trying to figure out. You were racking your brains. And when an Aquarius wants to know something, and for whatever reason the information is either hidden from them, or the information didn't come from them, they push and push and push. And in the past 6 months, I feel like you have been pushing for a specific answer, pushing to understand why a certain thing happened. But there's going to be some insights coming through for the month of March. For some of you, it might have already been, late February, but I feel like a lot more insights will come through in the month of March, where you will be able to understand some long-standing thing that you couldn't figure out, okay? The relationship sector. So for those in, business relationships as well as romantic relationships, we have here the Eight of Swords, which is basically no longer waiting in suspense, and especially no longer keeping yourself stuck in one position waiting for another person. So those swords are coming down, as well as those the bandages around you, and the blindfold. You are going to be privy to some really major information, so that you can figure out how to remove yourself from an uncomfortable situation. So if there has been some type of long-standing legal issues as well, preventing you from leaving a relationship partner, I feel that things are going to be finalized for this month. And then for others, if you have new people that you are trying to date, but there is still some lingering separation, child custody, division of assets, it's going to be clearing up for you for this month. So I'm getting a lot of, new energies coming through, breaking through. And I feel like it's going to, it's going to clear up a lot of roadblocks for you when it comes to communication, when it comes to work specifically, and when it comes to partnerships. And this is more like business oriented, okay? I feel like whoever it was that you were in a business partnership with, if they were taking their sweet time, I feel like they're going to catch up to your pace, and they're going to start doing things the way that you want. So they're going to move along in the same speed as you. Okay. So I feel like they're speeding up to catch up with you, or to match your level. So I feel a lot of cooperation overall coming through between you and other people. In terms of your 10th house, let's talk about your career. We have here the King of Swords, and this is a very technical career. So for those of you in the technical profession deals more with like math and science base. It could also be in the legal profession as well, where you have to retain a large quantity of information, where you might even need to input information very thoroughly and very accurately. Okay, so those are what I call like very technical professions. So accounting, for example, computer science, even like the legal profession. So for those of you who are in a legal profession, I'm sensing that some of you are having second thoughts whether or not this is something that is still viable for you, whether or not you are getting the emotional fulfillment out of it. Okay, so I'm sensing almost like some of you are rethinking your career path. So I'm thinking, I'm seeing that some of you might be rethinking whether or not it is still emotionally fulfilling and whether or not you still want to continue down this road. Okay. And then I feel like for others of you, you're kind of doubting yourself. You might be wanting to get into a very technical profession, and you're not really sure if your mind is cut out for it. And you know, your energy as the water bearer, and also, you know, in the sign of Aquarius, you're ruled by the planet Uranus. So you get snippets of information out of the blue, out of thin air. And a lot of the times too, you don't have to study for long periods of time. You get things, you make connections on a very intuitive level. And so for you to have to sit there and memorize something, memorize procedures, memorize all the data, relay all the facts, I feel that it makes you uncomfortable because that's not how your brain operates. And if you're in a situation where your mind is not, you know, like you're not intellectually stimulated, it can make absorbing information really difficult. And so I feel like some of you are in a profession where you have to memorize a lot of information, and you have to do things in a procedurally correct way. And I'm seeing a lot of people who are, you know, data entry, computer programmers as well. And I feel like you're questioning, you're doubting your capabilities, and you're doubting whether or not, you know, your mind is still as agile. So you might be, you know, 30 going into 40s or 40s and 50s. And you might be wondering whether or not your mind is still as agile as you were when you were younger in order to adequately do your job. Don't doubt yourself, okay? You are an Aquarius, and you have like snippets of information coming out of the ethers, coming out of the blue. You will be victorious in your work environment. I feel like you're going through a little bit of a period of self-doubt right now, especially if you're in like a big boy, like big girl type of job where you have an office, you have a reputation, and you're in a well-paying job. You might be going through this type of self-doubt, and it's not going to last all month. I do feel that you want to, whatever it is that you feel like you're not getting, try your best to research on that subject outside of your work hours, okay? And then especially find a more creative way to learn that subject. So for example, traditional, you know, schooling might not be the right method for you. So you might want to go on YouTube and see if there are tutorials, for example, on that specific topics. So find a different way. And some people don't do well in the traditional, you know, learning environment, the traditional educational route. So you rely on other avenues. So something a little bit more visual or something a little bit more hands-on in order for you to truly grasp the concept. I feel like hands-on might be a better fit for you guys, okay? But don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt it, okay? Don't doubt your capabilities. I am seeing here disruption in the family, and I'm seeing like father figures for many of you. So this might be somebody that has trouble communicating, okay? And a lot of the times it can come out in two ways. So first of all, if someone has trouble communicating, they're very indirect when they answer questions. They're very indirect and very like tangential when they talk. So they might relay a story, and there isn't a clear beginning, middle, and end. And so based on, you know, their rants, their long-winded train of thoughts, you're going to have to piece all the puzzles together in order to get the big picture, in order to get the story of whatever it is that they're telling you. So I feel like some of you are dealing with a father figure who is not very good at communicating. And so you're getting very worked up or somewhat frustrated, okay? You're also trying to dig out some information in your work environment that you feel there's more to the story, but you're encountering roadblocks as well. So they're kind of telling you, like, don't keep pushing for things. Okay. I know a lot of the times you guys, when you want an answer, you want it now. And, the way that you have it in your head, if the answer comes in any other way than the way that you envision, you won't accept it. So they're telling you, don't push so hard for answers, especially if you find like there might have been some misdeeds going on in your work environment. You might like won't you might not stop digging until you unearth, these secrets, these things that you consider secrets, or these things that you feel other people are holding back information on. So just be a little bit careful. Okay, don't go digging for trouble. All right, just ease up. The answers will come. It's just not going to be the way that you want.